How many times have they told you you weren't enough? How many times have they pushed you aside like you were nothing, like you didn't matter? They made you feel invisible, as if your existence was just a blur in the background of their grand story. They overlooked you when you gave everything, your time, your energy, your heart, and still it was never enough. Every sacrifice, every effort, every piece of you that you gave, only to be brushed aside like dust on an old shelf. How many times did you wonder if your voice even mattered? How many nights did you cry to your pillow, wondering if anyone would ever see you for the power you truly possess? They made you feel like a shadow in their eyes, didn't they? Like an afterthought, something that could be ignored without consequence. You stood in the room full of people, and yet it was as if you were invisible, fading into the background. Your ideas, your dreams, your very essence, they discarded it all without a second glance, without a care. You poured yourself into everything, gave your all to their cause, only to be left standing alone, questioning if you had ever mattered at all. They didn't even see your worth. They didn't even care. And for a moment, you believed them, didn't you? You believed the lies they told you, the ones that said you weren't enough, that you didn't belong. You thought you had no place in this world, no purpose, no meaning. But I'm here to tell you that feeling, the weight of rejection, the crushing loneliness, the sense of being discarded, is not the end of your story. No, it's just the beginning. It's okay to feel the sting of being overlooked, to feel the emptiness when your heart gives everything and receives nothing in return. It's okay to feel angry, to feel hurt, to feel abandoned. Those feelings are real and they matter, but don't let them define you. Don't let them hold you down or convince you that your worth is anything less than infinite. Yes, they made you feel small, but you are not small. Yes, they cast you aside, but that's only because they couldn't see the greatness that lies within you. They couldn't understand what you had to offer because they were too busy with their own insecurity, their own fears, their own agendas. They couldn't see that you were the one who held the key to something greater. But I see you. I see the power in you. I see the potential they tried to bury under their indifference, and I need you to hear me now. You are enough. You always have been. You've been rejected, dismissed, and cast aside, but that is not your final chapter. You are not the person they told you to be. You are not the shadow they tried to make you into. You are a force waiting to be unleashed, and nothing, no one, can take that from you. Your worth is not defined by their approval, by their recognition, by their understanding. Your worth is defined by who you are, by the fire that burns within you, by the strength you carry with every breath. So feel the pain, acknowledge it, let it wash over you, but do not let it anchor you. Do not let it keep you in that place of darkness, because from that very darkness, you will rise. You will stand taller than you ever have before, stronger than they ever imagined, and they won't be able to ignore you any longer. They thought they could break you, push you aside, make you disappear, but they were wrong, so wrong. And here's the truth they won't tell you. They can't function without you. They might have rejected you, might have cast you out, but now they're realizing something they never expected. You were the spark that kept their fire alive. You were the heartbeat of the machine they thought they could run without you. They wanted to push you aside, to forget you, to treat you like you didn't matter. But now that they've lost what they thought they could live without, they're scrambling, they're struggling, they need you. And you're just beginning to realize the power you've always had, the power to change the course of your own destiny. The world thought they could break you, make you small, make you insignificant. But in that very process, they created a force they'll never be able to stop. Your time is now. The world you've navigated is a battlefield, a place where the odds were never in your favor, where every step you took felt like you were walking uphill in a storm. The forces that worked to suppress you are not just people. They are systems, expectations, and deep-rooted beliefs that sought to keep you small, to make you believe that your dreams were impossible, that your voice didn't matter, that you were destined to remain in the shadows. These forces, whether they came in the form of societal expectations, those around you, or the doubts that you battled within yourself, were never your allies. They were not there to encourage you. They were there to hold you back, to remind you that you were not enough, that you were not worthy of success, of recognition, of the life you dreamed of. The system, the world around you, is cold, indifferent, and designed to break you. It doesn't care about your story, your struggles, your passion. It only cares about conformity, about keeping you in line, about fitting you into a box that serves its purposes, not yours. It told you that you had to look a certain way, act a certain way, think a certain way. It told you that your individuality, your unique voice was a weakness. It told you that your difference was a flaw. The world created these standards and left you to wonder why you didn't fit, why your path seemed so different, why the same rules didn't apply to you as they did to everyone else. But let's not forget the most dangerous villain of all, the doubts that you carried inside yourself. Those were the whispers that turned into roars, telling you that you couldn't, that you weren't worthy of success. They made you question everything you believed in, every step you took. They convinced you that you weren't capable, that you didn't have the strength to rise above the noise, that you were destined to be overlooked, ignored, forgotten. The doubts fed off your insecurities, amplifying every failure, every setback, every time you were told no. They were the ones who made you believe that every mistake, every rejection was proof that you would never be enough. And let's not forget the naysayers, the people who stood in your way, the ones who tried to tell you that your dreams were impossible. They laughed at your ideas, scoffed at your vision, dismissed your potential. These were the people who told you that you weren't cut out for success, that your ambitions were nothing but fantasies. They made you question your worth, your ability, and your right to succeed. They made you believe that their version of reality was the only one that mattered, that their opinions had the power to shape your destiny. These forces, whether they came from people you trusted, strangers, or even your own inner critic, worked tirelessly to diminish your light, to make you believe that your voice was too small, too insignificant to make an impact. You felt it, didn't you? The weight of their judgment, the crushing pressure to conform to their expectations. You felt like an outsider, like you were constantly fighting to be seen, heard, understood. You gave everything and still they turned away from you, leaving you to question your worth, leaving you to wonder if you were chasing an illusion, if your dreams were nothing more than a cruel joke. The struggle was real, the emotional toll of being doubted, dismissed, and underestimated, day after day, year after year. It felt like you were constantly walking on a tightrope, with the world below you, waiting for you to fall, to fail, to disappear. But let me remind you of something important. This is not the end of your story. These forces, these villains, they don't have the final say. The system that tried to hold you down, the doubts that whispered in your ear, the naysayers who mocked your dreams, they don't own you. They don't define you. And they sure as hell don't get to decide your future. These forces were real. Yes, they were painful. Yes, but they were not invincible. And their power over you, it was always temporary. Because you are stronger than they ever gave you credit for. You are capable of overcoming the obstacles they set in your path. You are more than the sum of your failures and doubts. And most importantly, you have already started the journey of defying them. You've already faced these forces head-on, even if you didn't recognize it at the time. Every time you kept going despite the doubt, every time you took a step forward despite the naysayers, you were winning. Every rejection, every dismissal, every struggle, they were not signs of your defeat. They were the very things that forged you, that shaped you into the person you are becoming. So don't let them fool you into thinking they've won. They've only delayed your success. They've only made your rise that much more powerful. Yes, these villains, the system, the doubts, the naysayers, are real, and they have made you suffer. But you, Bed, are more real. You are more powerful, and you're just beginning to show the world what happens when someone like you refuses to be silenced, when someone like you refuses to be pushed aside. So stand tall, because the fight is far from over, and the next chapter, it's yours to write. There comes a moment in every battle, a moment when the weight of everything, all the pain, all the rejection, all the struggle, becomes too much to bear. It presses down on you, crushing every ounce of your spirit, suffocating your will to fight. The world around you feels like it's closing in, and the light you once saw in the distance now seems too far away to reach. You thought you could handle it. You thought you could keep going, keep fighting, but then it became too much. All the years of being pushed aside, all the rejection, all the failed attempt, suddenly it was too heavy to carry. You couldn't breathe. You couldn't think. The world felt like it was spinning out of control, and you were just a passenger, powerless to change the course. In that moment, you felt the pull of despair, like you'd never felt before. The whispers of failure turned into roars. The doubts, the ones that had once been mere shadows in the back of your mind, now screamed in your ears, telling you that you were never meant for success, that you were never going to make it. You thought about everything you'd given, your time, your energy, your heart, and it felt like it had all been in vain. Every sacrifice, every moment of effort had led to this, a dead end, an empty road with no way out. And in that moment, you couldn't help but wonder if maybe they were right. Maybe you weren't meant to succeed. Maybe you weren't cut out for greatness after all. You were on the brink of surrender. Your hands trembled with the weight of defeat. Your heart felt heavy, like it was being crushed beneath the pressure of all the expectations that had been placed on you, of all the dreams you had held on to so tightly. You thought about walking away, about leaving it all behind, about accepting that maybe it wasn't meant to be. And for a moment, it felt like the only way out was to fade into the background, to disappear, to give in to the darkness that seemed to be closing in around you. But here's what I want you to remember, what I need you to hear. That was not the end of your story. You thought it was over, didn't you? You thought the battle had worn you down beyond repair. You thought the weight of the world had broken you, but you didn't give up. You didn't quit. You may have felt like it was the end, but it wasn't. You still breathed, didn't you? You still fought, even when you felt like there was no fight left in you, even when every fiber of your being screamed for you to stop, to rest, to give up. You kept going. The darkness that surrounded you may have felt like it was swallowing you whole, but you didn't let it consume you. The doubts, the rejection, the despair, they couldn't take away the one thing that mattered, your will to continue, your refusal to stay down. Even when you felt like a failure, like you didn't matter, you still pushed forward. You may not have known it at the time, but in that moment, when you felt like you were on the edge of giving up, that's when you were closest to discovering just how strong you really are. Do you see it now? Do you see how much you've already overcome? You've faced darkness, you've faced rejection, you've faced failure, and yet, here you are. You're still standing. Maybe it doesn't feel like a victory. Maybe you don't see it yet, but that alone, the fact that you didn't give in to the pain, the fact that you didn't let the world break you, that's a triumph in itself. So I want you to take a moment right now. Close your eyes if you have to. Reflect on that time when you thought you were done. Reflect on how close you came to surrendering, on how close you came to letting it all slip away. But remember this, you didn't let it. You didn't give up. You're still here, and you're stronger for it. The pain, the doubt, the fear, they were never meant to destroy you. They were meant to reveal the strength inside you, the power that you didn't even know you had. Every time you were pushed down, every time you thought it was the end, you were only being shaped, being molded into something greater than you could have imagined. The struggle didn't break you. It made you. You are standing here now, Not because life handed you everything you wanted, but because you fought for it. You stood tall when you wanted to crumble. You took another step when you thought you couldn't take one more. And now, as you stand on the other side of that battle, you realize something powerful. You were never as close to defeat as you thought you were. You were always on the verge of your greatest breakthrough, even when it didn't seem that way. And now that you're here looking back, you can see it clearly. You were built for this. You were built to rise, to overcome, to prove to the world that no matter how hard it gets, you will never be broken. So remember, the next time you feel like giving up, the next time the weight feels unbearable, that moment is not the end. It is simply the moment before your breakthrough. The moment when you realize that you are stronger than you ever believed. You are capable of more than you ever imagined, and you will rise again, even stronger than before. There comes a moment in every battle where the tides begin to turn, where the winds shift direction, and suddenly everything feels different. It's subtle at first, a whisper within you, a feeling in your chest, a stirring that tells you something is awakening. It's like a spark, tiny but undeniable, flickering in the deepest part of your soul. At first, you might dismiss it. You've been broken before. You've been told you're not enough. You've faced rejection so many times that you couldn't see past the walls they built around you. But this spark, this flicker of light, is unlike anything you've felt before. It's the beginning of your awakening. It's the start of realizing that the strength you were always searching for was never outside of you. It was inside, waiting, ready to rise. The storm you once feared is no longer something that threatens to break you. No, now it's something you can wield. The storm inside you isn't a force of destruction. It's a force of power, of change, of rebirth. The very thing that once made you feel powerless now becomes the catalyst for your transformation. You are no longer a victim of your circumstances. You are the creator of your future. The struggles, the doubts, the rejection, they no longer hold the same weight, because now you see them for what they truly are: the fuel for your fire, the bricks for your foundation. You are awakening to the fact that you have the power to rise above, to shatter the walls they built around you, and to claim the future that has always been meant for you. The walls that once caged you, the walls that once made you feel small, insignificant, trapped, they now serve as the ground you stand on. Those very walls, once a prison, have become your foundation, your base from which you will rise. The chains they thought would bind you. They're no longer chains. They're the threads that bind your strength together. Each moment of rejection, every time they pushed you aside, every time you fell down, they are now part of the tapestry of your power. The pain, the suffering, the heartache. It is no longer a symbol of your weakness. It is your strength. It is the proof that you are capable of overcoming anything, of weathering any storm, of facing any challenge and coming out victorious. In that moment of awakening, when the storm inside you shifts from a whisper to a roar, you realize something profound. Their rejection does not define you. All those times you were told you weren't enough, all those moments of self-doubt, all those people who told you that you couldn't, those voices were never the truth. The truth lies within you. You are not defined by their opinions. You are not defined by their rejection. You are not defined by the walls they tried to build around you. You are defined by the strength you've shown, by the resilience you've displayed, by the power that has always resided within you, waiting to break free. The moment you realize this, the moment you truly understand that your worth has never been tied to anyone else's approval, that is when your transformation begins. That is when you become unstoppable. The chains they once used to bind you, the doubts they placed in your mind, the rejection they imposed upon you, they all dissolve in the light of your newfound strength. You are not their prisoner. You are not a shadow in their eyes. You are the storm. You are the fire. You are the force of nature that cannot be ignored, cannot be dismissed, cannot be put down. And in this moment, this turning point, you face a choice. The power is now in your hand. The strength, the fire, the storm that is rising within you is yours to command. You can choose to stand tall. You can choose to fight back. You can choose to leave behind the victimhood that once defined you and step into the power that has always been yours. This is not a time for hesitation. This is not a time to doubt yourself. This is the moment to claim your power, to step into the person you were always meant to be. Choose to stand tall. Choose to fight back against the forces that sought to break you. Choose to take the lessons from your struggles and use them as the weapons that will propel you forward. Choose to be the person who defines their own worth, their own path, their own future. You've already survived everything they tried to throw at you. You've already faced the darkness, the rejection, the pain. Now it's time for you to rise above it all, stronger than you've ever been. The storm inside you isn't a force to be feared. It's a force to be reckoned with. And now that you've awakened to the power within you, there's nothing that can stand in your way. You are not the person they tried to make you. You are not the person they rejected. You are far more than that. This is your moment. This is your turning point. And now, it's time to show the world who you truly are. You are powerful. You are unstoppable. And you are just getting started. So take a deep breath, stand tall, and step into your greatness. The world may have tried to silence you, but now they will never be able to ignore you. This is your time to rise. The moment of realization, the awakening to your own strength, is just the beginning. Now it is time to reclaim your agency, to take control of your life, your future, your destiny. This is not a one-time event. It is a process, a steady and deliberate choice to stop letting others define who you are and what you are capable of. Every action, every thought, every shift in your perspective is a step toward reclaiming the power that has always been yours. It's the act of breaking free from the chains of doubt, from the walls of limitation, from the systems that sought to keep you small. And with every small victory, every step you take, you are becoming the person you were always meant to be. At first, the change may feel subtle. You may not even realize it, but the very way you walk through the world has changed. You are no longer walking in the shadows of others' expectations. You are standing in the light of your own truth, and with every step, you reclaim a piece of your power. You no longer ask for permission to exist, to be yourself, to take up space. You claimed it. No longer are you asking for validation. You are becoming the validation you once sought from others. The voice that was once muffled, suppressed, or ignored is now loud, and it will no longer be silenced. You start by taking small, deliberate actions that reinforce the new beliefs you've adopted about yourself. It's not about waiting for the world to change. It's about changing yourself first and watching as the world begins to reflect that change. You begin to take control of your thoughts, to shift the narrative that's been playing in your mind for far too long. The self-doubt, the fear, the uncertainty, they no longer have the power to dictate your life. With every thought you challenge, with every limiting belief you dismantle, you are stepping into your full power. This process isn't easy. It's not immediate. It's not a quick fix, but it is real, and it is transformative. The change happens when you decide that enough is enough. When you stop waiting for others to recognize your worth and you start recognizing it yourself. This is where the real power lies. The moment when you realize that you don't need anyone's approval, anyone's acceptance, anyone's validation. You have everything you need within you. Imagine yourself like a phoenix rising from the ashes. The fire that once threatened to consume you has become the very force that gives you life. You are not the same person you were before. You have been forged in the flames of adversity, and now you emerge stronger, more powerful, more capable than ever. Your wings are no longer clipped by fear, by rejection, or by doubt. They are spread wide, ready to soar. Or perhaps you see yourself as a warrior, emerging from the battlefield after a long, grueling fight. The scars you carry are not signs of defeat. They are marks of your resilience. They are proof that you've fought and that you've survived. You stand tall, holding your sword high, knowing that you have overcome every challenge, every obstacle, every setback. You are not broken. You are a conqueror. With every victory, no matter how small, your belief in yourself grows stronger. You start to see yourself in a new light. Each step you take is a testament to your strength, your perseverance, and your unwavering belief in your own potential. You are not waiting for life to give you permission to succeed. You are taking it for yourself, and the more you take, the more you realize that you are capable of so much more than you ever thought possible. These moments of triumph, whether they're big or small, are the moments that propel you forward. Every time you push past fear, every time you step outside your comfort zone, every time you silence the voice of doubt within you, you are taking another step towards the life you deserve. And with each step, you grow stronger, more confident, and more unstoppable. But let me remind you, this process is not instantaneous. It's not a one-time shift. This is not a story where you wake up one day and everything magically changes. Reclaiming your power is a journey, a path that takes time, patience, and commitment. There will be moments when you doubt yourself, when the road feels too long, when you wonder if it's worth it. But every step, no matter how small, is part of the powerful transformation that is happening within you. Don't expect perfection, don't expect to never stumble, but do expect to rise every single time you fall. Because now you understand that every setback, every failure, is just another opportunity to rise higher, to become more of who you truly are. So as you take these steps, these small but powerful actions, remind yourself that you are in control. This is your journey, this is your power, and the world will begin to see you for what you truly are, a force of nature. You are not defined by your past. You are not defined by the doubts of others. You are defined by your actions, your courage, and your relentless belief in yourself. And with every step you take, you are creating a new future, a future that belongs to you, a future where you are unstoppable. Rise, claim your power, and never look back. It's the moment you've been waiting for, the moment when the world that once turned its back on you, the world that pushed you aside, rejected you, and dismissed you, now comes crawling back. They need you. They depend on you. The tables have turned. The very ones who doubted your potential, who laughed at your dream, who tried to break you, now realize something they never saw coming. They cannot function without you. You've heard their voices, haven't you? Those who told you that you weren't enough, that you were too much, that you'd never succeed. They cast you aside, thought they could ignore you, believed they could move on without you. But now they're asking for your help. They're seeking your wisdom, your strength, your presence. They're coming to you, humble, no longer the ones with the power, but the ones with the desperate need. The contrast between the past and present couldn't be more striking. In the past, they overlooked you, belittled you, treated you as an afterthought. But now, they're standing at your feet, looking up to you, because they know what you've become. They're not just asking for your help, they're relying on it. They can't function without you anymore. They can't move forward without the very thing they once tried to destroy, your power. The image is vivid, striking. They once tried to bury you in the shadows, to keep you small, to make you invisible. They treated you like a speck of dust in their grand narrative, convinced that you didn't matter. But now, those very shadows are gone. And where do they stand? In your light. They can't ignore you anymore. They can't pretend you don't exist. You're the one they look to for guidance, for strength, for inspiration. The ones who once doubted you are now desperate for a glimpse of what you've become. what you've created. And here's the most powerful part of it all. They see you now for who you truly are. They see the strength you've forged, the power you've reclaimed. They see your resilience. They see that you are the one who was always meant to lead, to rise, to stand tall. You know what's happening. You feel it, don't you? You've always had the power within you. It was there, waiting to be unleashed, hidden beneath the layers of doubt and fear and rejection. And now you've awakened it. The power was always yours. It never belonged to them. It never depended on their validation. But now you're the one in control. You're the one they need. They now realize that their success was never just about their own efforts. It was about you. You were the missing piece. You were the key they never thought they'd need. The emotional release hits you like a tidal wave. All those years of struggling, of doubting yourself, of being pushed aside. All of it led to this moment. You stand tall, unshaken, because you know the truth now. You know who you are. You know your worth. You know your power. And in this moment, when you see them stand in your light, when you see them come to you for what you've always had, you understand something profound. You were never meant to be in the shadows. You were always meant to shine. The triumph is not just in the fact that they now need you. The triumph is in the realization that you were always capable, always strong, always worthy of the success, the recognition, and the power you now hold. They tried to break you. They tried to diminish you. They thought they could push you aside and keep moving forward without you. But they were wrong, so wrong. Now, the tables are flipped. They are the ones who depend on you. They are the ones who look to you for strength, for guidance, for inspiration. They are the ones who stand in awe of what you have become, of the power you've unlocked within yourself. And all of this power, all of this transformation, it was always within you. You were always destined for greatness. They just couldn't see it at the time. And now, you're standing in your truth. You are the one who has emerged victorious. You are the one who has reclaimed your power, your voice, your place in this world. You are the one who gets to define your future. You are the one who gets to decide how your story ends, and you choose to write it in bold, bright letters that can never be erased. They tried to bury you, to diminish you, to make you feel invisible, but now they are the ones who cannot exist without you.